General Krell here, and this is the Origami in Space podcast.
And here are your hosts, Bintil and Rice. And today with two guests, Kyle from the Star Wars Talk Show, and Corey, also known as Grievous Apprentice 15. And
Hello.
Today we're going to talk about Massacre, the first of the Darth Maul arc.
Probably the best. Probably going to be the best.
Probably?
Most likely it's going to be the best of the rest of the season.
This was genius.
It was just an intro, so we can't really tell.
I'm still in awe from tonight.
It's too awesome. I can't handle it.
Not Shadow Warrior anymore.
Oh, thank you. I mean, this totally disapproved Shadow Warrior. I mean, look at when he was killing all those zombies that attacked him.
I know.
Why couldn't he do that with Gungans?
I know.
These are
Exactly.
Nightsister zombies, and he's like, "Oh, I don't want to kill the Gungans. They're going extinct."
There's inconsistent quality of battle skills.
Maybe the zombies were all like discombobulated because they're undead.
Well, they are dead. They were pretty much just possessed by magic.
Just killed like an entire army of them.
But you know what I was thinking? What about all the Nightsisters that died during this battle, like the real living ones? Do they like just go to these eventually? But then again, the point was brought up of them not having anyone to like bury them within these.
True.
Like, I don't know, what do you call these?
Those cocoons in the trees?
Yeah, the cocoons. Yes.
Cocoon.
I'm gonna call them cocoons.
Cocoon.
Aerial burial.
Aerial burial.
Aerial burial. Good job. But Grievous and Ventress, I think they were the highlight.
Oh yes, they were.
Yes.
Oh, they were the best.
Definitely.
Grievous, I think a bit more than Ventress, though.
And finally we had some style with some lightsaber action instead of just generic Anakin Dooku. You actually saw their different styles.
And Dooku was just, I actually felt sorry for him in
face!
this episode. I actually kind of felt sorry for him because this is the way Dooku should be portrayed. A bit more realistic.
Yeah.
More secretive. You're not there. I mean, he's commanding the battle, but he's not like the main focus of the battle.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what they really need to focus on. And they did it. Katie Lucas, I commend you. You are awesome.
She is constantly winning.
Constantly. I mean, # winning.
Another great thing about this episode, no clones.
Oh, yeah.
Yes!
No clones.
Jordan's going to kill us.
Yes, just
good for
droids and Nightsisters on the battlefield. That was amazing.
That's
Yeah.
like perfection right there.
Yep.
It makes
This
it
was
more
like
balanced.
Umbara's War amped up by 10 or 20.
And
Yeah.
evening it out without like crowds like poning everybody.
That was Ventress and Grievous' job.
Exactly. But Grievous, he was just epic. He totally redeemed himself for me.
You should have been there. When I first saw all those ships over orbit, I was just like, holy crap, I couldn't count them all on screen. And this is what I've always been wanting to see in a blockade or an invasion. And then when I saw all the droids unloading and the SBDs back, I was like, holy crap.
Shiz is going down, man. Shiz is going down.
I was like squealing the entire time. It
Yeah,
was awesome.
And mentioning about numbers of ships, I thought it was sort of ambiguous that the actual number of Nightsisters, the actual sort of number you saw that were vaguely identified was about 10, and maybe you saw about 30 die on screen, but it was unclear about the scale of the invasion on the planet itself. It was obvious from the blockade or whatever that it was huge. This would be a planet-wide invasion, but instead they just focused right by the temple, so it made it sort of like, what?
Yeah. What it could have been is we only saw like the main sisters by the campfire, and then there were some other ones like off in their hut, because we never even saw the Night Brothers until a little later on in the Night Sisters arc. So we got their separate clans going
true.
in certain places.
Yeah, and like the whole point was to wipe out the Nightsisters. The Zabraks didn't mean anything to Dooku, just the Nightsisters.
Because they're the one with that power!
Well, they were targeting Ventress in specific for a while there, but then she went AWOL, and then it was like Talzin. It was all Talzin.
Yeah.
For some reason, another creepy old Night Sister witch chick
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that
Daka.
Grievous killed. She was scary looking.
I wonder why they didn't use battle meditation.
I don't know, but wasn't that D. Baker voicing that chick? It probably was. It sounded like him. He sounded like the Geonosian Queen voice.
Yeah, I was reminiscent of the Geonosian Queen when I first saw her. I mean, Grievous walked in that room, though, just picked her up and stabbed her. I was like, don't you dare make this wimpy. And then, zoom, and I was like, oh.
Grievous was anything but wimpy in this episode. He was.
He
Oh
even
my-
participated in killing Talzin.
Well, they didn't kill Talzin. She's pretty much traveling in spirit, pretty much.
Traveling in time and space.
Like what
Weird.
happened to Obi-Wan Kenobi in A New Hope.
No, she's not dead. She just sort of dissipated and is traveling around in a spirit form.
That old lady was like too
She was
too old to even do
freaky
anything. Like her reaction time was 20 seconds off.
But it was also because
was-
she was focusing so hard on making the zombies, she couldn't think about anything else. She just had to think about that, or else it would be destroyed.
Yeah. Before this episode, Mike, you were like, "Oh, Ventress is gonna kill Grievous," and people are like, "Grievous is
Not
gonna kill
kill Grievous.
Ventress,"
What are you talking?
or beat him and whatnot.
Well, just for the record, Ventress would have won.
Mm-hmm.
Several reasons. One, she did have the upper hand there. Grievous ran to his droids to save his ass. If
Actually,
they'd
He was
alone-
getting up. I mean, I was hoping he would get
You
up.
know,
There was
Ventress-
a chance that he could have continued the fight, but he was just bored and wanted to end it fast.
Yeah,
Well, his orders were to go
There-
after Mother Talzin fast
Mhm.
because of Dooku.
he was just listening to his orders.
We can pretty much say that this fight was a draw.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they both injured each other's hands, which I thought was a rather close parallel. Or
And
shoulder.
think, Ventress didn't take into account that Grievous was definitely going to go after his droids.
Mhm.
You know, it's his tactic. So if that's always his tactic, it's not a matter of, even if you do kill Ventress, you only won because of your droids. It's a matter of that is part of Grievous, and that is how he wins battles. So if you don't take that into account before you fight him, well, then you are going to lose. And so I would definitely go with Corey saying this was a draw.
It is a draw. Yeah, that's true. But I would like to see them one-on-one, just flat out to the death. Just a
But this
brawl.
was nothing short of what I thought it would be. I thought maybe they were going to face each other, and then suddenly they were just going to flee,
That's what I thought was going to happen at
This-
first.
They did just kind of have to run off and do something else.
But this was a battle. It actually took place. And, it offered something for everyone. That's why I was like, oh, screw who won the fight. And the CIS just pwned people to no end.
Yes, Separatist victory right there. Full-on villain showdown, and Grievous kills a lot of people. Yeah, that's just fun for everyone.
The Separatists, they regained their name. They regained their respect.
Yes, they showed they could actually do something and keep on a war that lasts 3 years.
Now, was there any reminiscence of, Umbara? Did you guys think if there was, any reminiscence of Umbara?
Mostly it's dark, and there's Dark Jedi, but really what I thought with the zombies was Star Wars Bounty Hunter.
But the main two battles have focused around this dark, shady, roots in the ground, trees, foreign plants. So that was always nice to see there. And it was
But
very
Umbaras were
interesting.
definitely not zombies.
So episode was, in my sight, flawless. I
Oh,
didn't
definitely.
really see any, the dialogue was good, visuals were perfect, Grievous wasn't a wuss bag. There's a
You
first,
see,
but
yeah.
I don't know, Ventress was there, zombies.
About the dialogue, though, they didn't, waste time. They just cut to the chase, if you know what I'm saying.
Exactly.
Mhm.
Didn't just prolong out useless garbage like they normally would do.
yeah.
They just cut to the
Yeah.
chase and just went at it.
Mm-hmm.
And each dialogue had meaning. It was not left unanswered.
Exactly.
Right. And the battle actually made sense, because I noticed a big problem of the Clone Wars isn't necessarily bad acting. It's just that the story's bad. Here, the story was great. Everything made sense. As you said, it was minimalistic. It just got to the point and went on to the next idea. No
Yeah.
exaggeration of needless time saying, oh, blah, 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 blah.
I think the voice acting in this one was actually really well done. The emotions some of the characters, the voice actresses portrayed in this was insane. And Corey Burton as Dooku, he actually did a pretty good job
that
for the
was
most
awesome.
part
Mm-hmm.
of what he had to do.
Really?
Dying, and he was counting on Grievous to save him. That was a good moment.
Mm-hmm.
And I loved how he was just like, oh, screw you, Talzin. Grievous, go forward. That was just
Yeah,
great.
But I think then Nika Fleming, she did epic as Ventress, as usual. And the lady who does the voice for Talzin, she was really good too.
And Matthew Wood did amazing as Grievous and the droids.
And you're not dealing with Matt Lanter.
If you watch Shadow Warrior and then this episode, that doesn't even
There
matter.
you-
That's not even the same Grievous. It's two different Grievouses.
Although I liked how on Sereno, I believe, where Dooku lives,
Mhm.
there were droids this time, all around him.
Yeah.
There was no weakness to the Sereno. It felt realistic that he'd have droids there. And that was
he
always a
wasn't
nice
in
touch.
PJs. He wasn't in PJs this time. So,
He was
I
still
was-
missing his cloak.
Where is his cape?
He was wearing
He's
informal wear. He was wearing lounge wear.
No, but he
hardware.
needs his
Cloak's
cape.
missing in a lot of the episodes.
He
Like
had it
Shadow
in
Warrior,
Shadow.
he had it in A Friend in Need whenever he was in hologram form.
That's it. That is it. Just those 2 episodes.
And
He needs
also the underwater trilogy, the Mon Calamari trilogy. He had
He
it.
did have it there. He should have had it in this episode.
Well, it's a different kind of invisibility cloak. Instead of making the wear invisible, the cloak randomly becomes invisible.
Oh,
But
maybe
seriously
not.
though,
Maybe
why
not.
wear it on his home planet? I mean, he's just chilling, drinking
Yeah, I
his
said
tea.
lounge wear.
He wants to
You
look
know,
formal.
throwing some battle droids against the wall. Why would he use his cape then? That's for special
Because
events
he's
like
Count Dooku. He's
meeting
He always wants
Tikas.
to look formal.
He needs to have that cape. It's what makes him Dooku. Like that
Yeah.
cape. Like that's Count Dooku. I still like Dooku. Like, he was funny in this episode. The way Talon was randomly there killing him. That was funny stuff.
I was hoping, like, on Grievous's ship, like, in the background, keeping the story moving along. Just as he's walking, he goes by, like, this one room where there's a Gungan in the background just being tortured, like, blah, 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 blah. Whoa, me some bad poodoo. And, like, Grievous just looks back and, like, shakes his head, like, ugh.
Gungans.
But this
And, like, the droid's like, were you defeated by them? But see, that would, like, totally throw it off topic. You know?
But you notice, like, all the GG fangirls got, like, screwed over. Now they're, and Dan. Dan's in there, too. He's not a fangirl.
Yeah,
but you
Dan's gonna be happy.
Oh, yeah, Dan was
I'm
just,
sure he
like,
is.
clapping during the episode. It was great.
I can imagine. This was, like, at par with Carnage of Krell. It was, like, perfect.
Yeah. It was way above Carnage of Krell.
Yeah, it got a lot of great stuff
I-
in it. Like Grievous
They
was
did the
killing
battle.
a lot. I am the greatest warrior in the galaxy. I bring upon massacres to planets. I am the leader of the most powerful droid army the galaxy has ever seen.
The droids didn't seem useless like they normally would.
No.
And they
I
pushed the
also-
tank when
yeah,
it was
what
coming
the-
at him.
These are like steroid droids or something. Like,
But also considering they weren't going against the Republic, they were going against the Nightsisters.
that's true.
I mean, you don't see clones pushing a tank.
Because
Well,
they're
there's the-
clones.
Come on, man!
They're clones.
I mean, literally, though, after this episode, I could not stop posting on the Underworld's wall about how amazing it was. I think I have like 4 posts over here on Star Wars Underworld. It was just great.
They had that big tank vehicle thing that was in that one
Oh,
episode.
it's
With the
Defoliator.
bullshit,
Spoiler, yeah, that was awesome seeing that again. Even though it got
That.
blown up pretty quickly.
Good
though.
thing Dooku made more of those.
Yeah, I didn't
Yes.
think he was gonna go anywhere with it, but then now, guess he is.
I mean, look at that, though. I was like, take that, you Vico People, and like burn the forest down. I mean, they just blew the crap out of that place. That was great.
Poor Knight.
I know, but like all the Nightsisters died, but I was so happy. I don't know why. It was just great.
So satisfied to see Grievous bring out a victory.
But I felt sorry for the Nightsisters.
They got like exterminated. They became like
Exterminate.
You get the idea that the Nightsisters, they're not perfectly nice, but they're nicer than the Sith. That's pretty obvious. They're like, oh, sisterhood.
They got their own thing going on. They don't meddle in other business, you know.
We got
You know, like the
each
Sith.
other.
I bet if the invasion was a little bit later, they would have started making out.
oh
No.
Let's
gonna
go over to the
edit
Night
that.
Brothers clan.
Oh my god.
Let's go, guys. Come on, girls, let's go.
Well, they do have to choose
Oh,
mates, so who knows?
Then random Gungans.
Oh my god.
We were here.
Okay, so what do you guys think of next week's episode, Bounty?
Well,
To tell you the truth,
Kind of good. Yeah, it was Bosk in it. Embo makes a cameo and he has a dog.
I hope they
Yes,
make
the
a
new book.
smooth transition in this, although they said the point was pretty much that Ventress has nothing now, so she gotta find something.
Bounty. She's gonna be a bounty hunter. That's gonna be so awesome.
But
Yeah,
this is
she's
something
gonna be
going to lead to
Bosk's
something,
girlfriend.
though. She's still going to
Oh,
try to get revenge, right?
Well, she is gonna fight Savage. We know that.
but to tell you the truth, I'm not actually looking forward to this episode as much.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's one of the Clone Wars recently, like in seasons 1 through 3, and you know, not really season 4 because they've just been under par. But all the episodes have just been subpar Clone Wars. You know, we just love to watch them. This episode just blew me away. The next episode just kind of looks subpar. All these great cameos, yes, but it just kind of looks like it's straying away from the point, unless you know she does get these guys for revenge. But I mean, if she just goes off and joins some bounty clan, gets mixed up in something weird, and then the next episode is Darth Maul coming back, and then they just kind of go away from
Oh.
that.
There's gotta be revenge. There's no other.
Well, yeah, because she does go up against Savage again.
hmm
As we saw from the trailer. So she's not just doing this randomly. I'm sure she has like something planned.
I'm looking forward to this episode at about an 8 out of 10 right now, 7.5 or 8 out of 10 of an episode. Whereas, I mean, seeing how this episode was so simple, there was barely any plot holes. It kept you going. You really didn't see any plot holes, even if they were there. And that's the beauty about it. You know, you don't need to see all the plot holes, even if they are there, because if you do a good enough job, they're not really as important.
Right.
Whereas if you're bored to tears and the episode really doesn't mean anything to you, the plot holes do matter. And sure, I'm not saying, well, yeah, if the plot holes are there, it's good. Sure, they could have moved it around it, but I didn't see any because the episode was so great. I just saw it was awesome. I did find it kind of funny how they made this big deal out of Mother Talzin going and opening the mystical door that hadn't been opened in like 7 million years, finding this ancient 900-year-old Geonosian / Night Sister. So and then like, you know, everyone just blows the door up and open, and like the 2 Night Sisters just run right in. Too much of a big deal out of just a door. I was expecting it to be like a hideaway or something, but it was still
like
cool.
magically hidden, not just a rock wall. I think we magically hidden within another dimension, not just okay, there's a wall.
I mean, if I was Grievous, I kind of would have stopped and looked at the wall for a second. I wouldn't have been like, let's just blow a hole right there, see what happens.
There was some green mist going through it. That had to be where they were headed. Yeah.
Just like
Talzin get Dooku's hair. That's what I'm wondering.
well, remember that
Don't
Dooku
ask.
did meet with Savage and all that stuff last season,
And Dooku
so
also did like help Mother Talzin before then.
So what? Like, here, take some of my hair.
Like whenever he was a Padawan still, maybe.
No, she said silver hair.
So like he was still in the Jedi Order, I think, but still, yeah.
Do you think he's been old like this whole time, even when he was a Jedi?
Well,
Prematurely gray, maybe.
Back to my previous point here, when you're following a foot trail and it just suddenly ends, do you just go, well, this is directly the way to go, or do you kind of look around for a second and then figure it out?
Well, as we said, they were just trying to get to the point. Like, okay, boom, go ahead.
It was really nice to see the commando droid and whatnot.
Oh, yeah.
And they brought in like 3 categories of droids: tanks, the defoliator,
and we have
those ships.
Guards too.
Magna Guards, Grievous. They brought in everything.
Gungan torturers.
Gungan torture. Seriously, like a Magna Guard in the back, like stabbing him in the head. He's like, ooh, wow. Ooh.
I thought this whole thing with Karis, just like, hello, I love you as a friend. And like, okay, die. Oh, keep on fighting, Ventress. I just thought that was really lame. It was a red shirt character.
I loved it. Well, it's more of like, you know, the person, you know, they just look like happy people, and then suddenly, boom, everything just falls apart on them, and suddenly people, you know, they made that subtle connection. They didn't spend time on it, but there was that subtle connection of like, hey, I'm just a Night Sister, boom. And then I was sitting there watching the episode. I was like, I would just love to see a bomb land right on that fire. And as soon as I said that, like, no more than, I don't know, 10, 20 seconds later, boom, it just blew up right in the middle of the fire. I was like, ah, yes. But yeah, I mean, you should have heard Dan the entire time. Every time a Night Sister died, he's like, ah. So yeah, like me, Jordan, Dan, Asheen were all like a group of 4 who just loved this episode.
But anyways,
yeah.
So let's wrap this up, yeah.
Yeah, it's to do that.
So what do we rate this episode?
I rated it a perfect score.
Perfect, 10 out of 10.
I think
give
I'm going to
2
agree with that.
exclamation marks out of 2 exclamation marks out of 10 out of 10.
Just like no flaws. As hard as you look, there's like no flaw.
I'm sure
Which is weird, because like Clone Wars episodes always have flaws.
Loved
Like,
it.
I didn't see anything wrong with it. It was perfect. It held my attention. The dialogue, the visuals, like, it was all face-delicious.
And characters who actually had emotions that made sense.
Keep them coming, Filoni.
Yes, and give Grievous more victories. No more Gungan defeat.
Not just Grievous, but Separatists in general. They need more wins.
Against the Jedi.
Yes.
And then they will die.
I would love to see Grievous' Twitter feed after this.
It's like,
Just
I
own
win.
Night Sisters.
It'd be
Hashtag.
like, it would just say, constantly winning. That's all it would say.
Well, we have been considering doing some other branching off stuff, such as top 10 lists, notable videos, or whatever, so maybe in the next episode or so, maybe expect something a little bit of variety. Although I'm not saying we haven't had any variety.
Anyway.
So it's been great having you guys. And until next time,
May the space be with you.
may the fold be